How's it going? Ryan Braswell here with Local Realty, and I am sitting down having a conversation with my friend Bernard Ramchatesingh. He is going to talk to us about franchising. I know that it's a prime real estate topic, but I'm sure you would like to learn a little bit about how to help your business and possibly grow it as well. So Bernie, how you doing today?
Doing great, Ryan. How you doing?
I can't complain at all. It's good that you're here.
Thank you.
So what company do you work for?
So I'm a senior consultant with the iFranchise group. We help businesses understand what the feasibility is of scaling, whether it's franchising or alternative strategies. There's alternative ways to grow a business, licensing, partnerships, private equity, things like that. Deciding on feasibility, helping them guide, and connecting the dots to their scalable program.
How long have you been doing this?
It's actually 1 year tomorrow with the iFranchise group, but I've been involved with franchising for the last 18 years. I'm a certified franchise executive with the IFA, International Franchise Association, and I just enjoy working with business owners that start small and finish big.
How'd you get into the business? It's very interesting.
It's by accident, I guess. I had a long career in kind of a roller coaster. I started off very young coaching tennis. I was a percussion instructor, just coaching people. And
You used to box too, right?
I dabbled with my brother in the gym a little bit, but yeah, not too much. And what ended up happening is I learned over the years that I enjoyed helping people. And I was a sport management major, business minor. I went to St. John's University, ended up getting a lot of great internships as an undergrad, and thought I was going into a longer career in coaching, sports management, and also teaching. I was looking into education, again, helping people. And there was another kind of adjacent line that was about to crash into me at the same time with a friend of mine who now works for Connoisseur Media. He's a radio DJ, and he was doing marketing for a franchise company and a quick serve restaurant. And on the side, he was trying to build programs, doing charity events, things like that, and I was polishing my skills in sports media and media relations. So I would help him write public relations articles, got him some press coverage for certain charities, local events, things like that. And he just called me one day and said, hey, there's an opportunity on Long Island, and we just need someone to come in and help with communications. So he contacted me. I went in, stayed there 16 plus years.
Here you are now, right?
Yeah, built it into a coaching program and learned a whole lot about franchising and helping business owners along the way, and then continue that coaching along the way.
So what exactly is franchising?
So franchising, according to many, is the greatest growth strategy ever. It's a concept that really was made official in the 1970s, but it's been around for many ages. The first franchise model, you could say, was the Singer, the sewing machine. So you have a model, it's doing well, you know how to make money from it.
I literally was thinking like vocalist. I'm like, why on earth is somebody who's like a concert singer about to franchise?
So what ends up happening is you have a concept, you have a model that you want to expand. Someone else thinks it's good and maybe worthwhile to expand it into another market, another territory, another city, whatever it is. You teach them. You teach them the skills, you teach them the systems, the support of how you grow. You may collect a fee for it, and you may tie it under a brand. And those are the three criteria of what makes a franchise but a Federal Trade Commission. It's the systems and process, the fee for that exchange of information, knowledge, intellectual property, and putting it under a brand. And if you could check off those three boxes, you're checking off the franchise law essentially in a simplified way. And then you can grow in terms of making sure that you grow with the franchise model. It's a helpful way to grow a model, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a medical practice. When you separate the owner from the actual business model itself, it's putting those things in place and growing and scaling.
So for a business owner who has, say, like 3 locations and they kind of want to expand, but they don't want to own a 4th, 5th, 6th, they don't want to do the work, they're essentially creating a system or a standard operating procedure, manuals, things like that, to help someone else come in and just kind of take off and grow the successful business under that brand. So that's kind of the gist of it?
Yes. A lot of folks come with the idea of building a concept with the intent to scale. Some have the exit in mind where they want to position for private equity sale. Some of them want to keep it a generational wealth where they're building something for their future generations. Some of them accidentally fall into it where they just open up, say, a cookie shop or cupcake shop, and someone says, wow, I really want this in my neighborhood. And then you can scale without investing yourself. You can teach someone else how to do it and collect ongoing royalties and kind of build systems there. The more successful the franchisee is, the more successful a franchisor is. So there's an ongoing support, ongoing relationship, brands that communicate well and support their franchise investors, and they become essentially a family under one umbrella, a brand. They're the ones who kind of grow better.
Can you describe a particularly challenging franchise project that you've worked on?
Sure. So without naming names, there's a lot of things that go into developing a system and growing it. And I think the foundation of it is always coming down to the strategic plan. So whatever needs to be done in terms of your homework, your due diligence, market research, understanding who your consumer is, how do you understand the market you're growing in? You can't take something from perhaps Suffolk County, Long Island, and move it to Queens. It may not work depending on the neighborhood. There's a lot of different moving parts. There's the demographics, socioeconomic relationships with the guests, and then the business model itself. Who are your competitors? Who are you going up against? How do you differentiate yourself from them? What your value proposition is? So there's hundreds of business decisions that need to go through, and a lot of folks enjoy taking shortcuts when they should be focused on smart cuts. Don't skip steps, do the research, understand what pieces you need to do and move forward. So working with clients that want to move forward quickly and they want to move forward with, very economically, they want to cut corners and trying to slow them down to make them understand they need to learn things before they move forward.
You gotta walk before you can run.
Walk before you run, yep. The challenging part is holding people back that want to move forward. They may want to skip steps. They may launch successfully, year, 2, 3 years. At some point, they hit a wall and things can collapse. And we've seen big brands kind of fall apart, in many industries for similar reasons.
Like, do you do research on little markets and give suggestions like, hey, this is a great location or this is a great spot to consider?
Well, we can advise on it. We help. We're very good at cloning businesses. We are not going to change your model. We're not going to come in and undo what you've done.
Yeah, they've made that special, right. They're the element that created this business. You're just there to help in an advisory capacity.
Right, so but we could take a look what you have, how you've gotten to where you are, and then help with the strategy, help with designing. We could do the market research, the due diligence, kind of give suggestions. At the end of the day, the business owner is going to decide where they want to go. But in addition to doing the homework, the key piece is also ask for help. There's other folks that have been there. There may be a similar concept that is launched. We could learn from those wins and losses that they've gone through and take that and put it into a model and help someone start with all that knowledge and then launch to wherever they want to get to.
Okay. So now, what are some of the most essential factors that should be considered? What are some of those little homework pieces? And I know there's probably a million of them out there, but what are some key factors that, like say you're interviewing somebody who wants to franchise, like what's essential factors that they should have ready or should know in order to, sit down and have a productive conversation with you?
There's a lot of criteria in terms of feasibility, what you should consider before moving forward. I would say the 3 things that probably jump out are, 1, if we remove the founder, the owner, can we clone the business? Can you teach someone how to do it? Can we create a system that is attractive in the market? How do you separate yourself, that point of differentiation, your value proposition? How do you make it attractive to another investor to perhaps want to leave a second career or leave a similar business to come and invest with you to grow your system? And the third part, which ties into part 2, is can you make it positive return for them after they pay expenses, after they go through the annual cycle of a business? Can they start saving and putting money in, whether they want to pocket for college fund, rainy day fund, or reinvest in more locations? If you could build a healthy system, again, win-win scenario, then we could start talking about how do you scale from there.
Any kind of trends or anything that you're seeing from businesses and stuff like that?
There's always a lot of buzz in restaurants and food service. There's the next best recipe. There's a lot of buzz in medical concepts, health concepts. So there's a lot of ways to move forward with different models. What we saw, especially coming out of the pandemic, was a lot of folks created businesses. The most entities in the history of the U.S. has been spiked. There's a line graph that just went straight north.
LegalZoom must have been really busy.
LegalZoom was busy. Folks that were just taking a look at, hey, I'm unemployed, or I've got a concept, or I have an idea. I think I could do something better than another business. They all formed entities, and now they're looking to do, better in terms of growth from there. And so from that, it spurred even more interest and expansion for the ones that caught fire and wanted to expand.
Okay. Are there any common misconceptions about franchising? Like, questions that you're always getting from an owner, that they're just kind of, aside from like the walk before you can run kind of thing?
Sure. I mean, a lot of it comes back to there's a lot of negative connotations sometimes with the franchise. Often I go to networking events and there's folks that come in and say, oh, you sell franchises. Well, I don't sell franchises anymore. Some people take a look at franchise as a diluted system where they come in and the franchise model, oh, it's a big brand. These guys are going to come in and they're going to force everyone to do this. And, that there's owners out there that aren't working for themselves. And that's really not the truth about it, because it's a way that someone started small. They now put themselves in a position to scale. They grow. They teach others. that support structure, when it goes sour, when franchisors don't support their franchisees, when they don't provide the tools, when they recruit the wrong candidates to come in that want to cut corners. Sometimes it's better to not be an entrepreneur hiring an entrepreneur. It's easier to find an entrepreneur providing that service to someone else who could follow the system and teach them before they even sign a contract, before they sign a franchise agreement. Make sure that everyone does the homework on both ends, buyer, seller. And once they have that relationship, then grow. So when bits and pieces of that strategy start crumbling, that's where things can go wrong.
You know, the movie The Founder and the whole story about, how he sold the franchises to his friends. And then, and they were very specific, how many pickles, all that kind of stuff. And then his buddy, all of a sudden they're offering like chicken sandwiches and all this stuff. And, and I remember that scene very vividly. It seems like a very good kind of motivated franchisee kind of movie to watch and whatnot. What do you wish you knew when you started? What do you wish you know now?
I'm always learning more and more. One of the things that I latched on, especially in the last several years, but I should have known earlier on, and it's kind of guiding to how I help people, is what keeps you awake at night. For everyone that I speak with as a business owner that can't move forward or they don't know how to move forward, well, what's bothering them? What is on today's list of keeping you awake at night? It may be, a lot of business owners get caught in tunnel vision of they go in, they're just worried about what's in the cash register. They're ignoring other things, equipment that's failing or poor
penny wise, dollar foolish.
Exactly, or poor experiences from their employees, or why are people going to the neighborhood competitor and different things like that. So finding out what keeps them awake at night and getting them past that and helping them kind of grow beyond that. If I knew that earlier, I think I could help more people. Now that's kind of where I focus on in terms of how do I get you to move forward where you are, and where do we get you in a longer, bigger picture type situation.
So now, would that be like one of the best pieces of advice for somebody looking to start their franchise journey to kind of figure out what is it that keeps them up at night? Like, is that one of the biggest hurdles in the ways that, what you do in your company can be most helpful for franchisors? It's
part of it. A lot of it is just where to start. How do you take the first couple steps? There's no set inflection point of when you want to move forward. It's a matter of, do the other criteria fall in place? How do you get to that point? When is the right time for franchising? Is franchising the right model for you? Is there an alternative strategy that better fits? We don't sell franchising as much as we are experienced in franchising itself. We work with other non-franchise organizations as well, but we want to help guide everyone. Again, I sleep better at night knowing I helped somebody. So I want to make sure that they understand what the next steps are. So just making sure that they take those first few steps correctly, and that ties into the strategy, that ties into everything else in terms of where do you launch, how do you grow from there.
I'll tell you this, if you ever see local realty franchised across the country, you're gonna know who I got my information from. So Bernie, it's been wonderful talking with you. I'm sure that plenty of people got a lot of good advice and stuff in there. How can people get in touch with you if they have any questions?
Sure. I know. I'll give them, my email's quite long. I have the longest email.
We'll have it all in the description. Don't worry, we'll have it there. But from the man himself.
Yep. So it's bramchatesingh at iFranchiseGroup.com. You'll probably run out of text typing that up. Or just call me directly, 708-249-1068, directly to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time, Bernie.
All right, Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Cheers.